everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Uh, this is, as you might have noticed, a new channel, second video, craziness. We're a little bit less laggy, so you might see my face a little bit more in this video, but my internet hates the heat. So um, I'm watching the bars on the internet on the corner of my screen. And we might be doing a lot more full screen picture that doesn't move just so that the lagginess doesn't become an issue. So that may be a lot of the videos for the summer on this channel until I can get into my bookstore. Because if you haven't met me before, I'm Jamie B. I read a ton of books still. I'm starting a bookstore, and I'm very poor. That's all that stuff that if you know me from Jamie B Books, you know that already. Very poor, the kind of technology that someone who's very poor has access to, which limits some of what I can do booktube wise, just because I don't have the technology for it. And my internet has issues, um, and I can't afford to upgrade internet. You know, I'm doing what I can with what I got. Um, yes, if you are very poor, you can still do videos. As a matter of fact, if you have a smartphone, you can definitely do videos. I don't have a smartphone, so it could be easier if I had that. Except I have these. I was born disabled. I do not have full-sized hands. I'm missing thumbs. So smartphones are awkward for me. They're a bit big, and I can't pick them up without touching the screen in awkward places. And I hate touch screens for that reason. Anyway, so all that plus the snag that you can watch in my first video on this channel. Um, yeah, I am trying to start a company. Actually, we've officially made the company. It's just there's some steps. But by the end of the year, we will have a bookstore, used books and used craft supplies, donations based, um, and in an area that is absolutely beautiful, not too far from the city I'm in now, and within reasonable driving distance of enough communities that I think we can make it work. In a um, coverage hole in the used book world in our part of Colorado, where there actually isn't a bookstore there right now. So that's great. Um, so we're in the process of getting that bookstore set up. You can see some chaos behind me. The focus is not going to do much on this computer, which is fine because you want my face, right? But behind me on the table, there's stacks of books. I've gotten it to where I have an entirely empty large bookshelf because I've boxed up that many books, and there's not stacks of books on the floor anymore. I have a huge collection of books, and when I stopped working at the local Friends of the Library bookstore, I had gotten a whole bunch of bags of books and a whole bunch of books that they were rejecting. We had a bag of books sale the very last week that I worked there, so that helped. Um, but yeah, I've known I was going to be starting a bookstore for the last few months I worked there. So I would bring home the books that were going to be thrown out that I thought my store could probably handle that. Um, and not to excess, but certainly more than your typical household collection. So I have the collection of books to start. And once I open, because my range will be so totally different from what the library bookstore tends to want to stock. Um, I know there will be a range of books people are trying to find homes for that will make it to my store. So, anyway, that's the plan. It should be exciting. Once that happens, I will suddenly also have an income, which I don't really have right now. So, this channel make it a lot better. We're going to have to get a better computer that can do streaming because our plan includes being able to have author talks and other things that go on at the store that can be live streamed. And something like the technology you're watching me on now just isn't going to cut it. It makes me cringe watching my own videos because it looks like I'm using the cheapest crap possible because I am. And I'm glad that that's available at all because it's still amazing I can do this considering I literally have no income right now. Yeah. So so that's the scheme at the moment. When I find my password to get into my other set of accounts, I'm going to find it because I'm packing to move and going through everything to pack to move. And I know I have that password written down still in a notebook somewhere in among all my stuff. It's just it hasn't been necessary for about a year. So, when I find that password and when I get back into Jamie B books, it will be my personal account. This will become the account for reviews and like public facing bookish content. So, you know, less controversial book essays and stuff like that. Things where it's something that my bookstore could stand behind, as opposed to my personal opinion that maybe doesn't have a place as the bookstore's voice, seeing as it's a partnership and a company and anyway. So all of this ridiculous having to make a second set of accounts thing isn't ridiculous. It just is a pain in the butt to do it right now and without access to the other side. It sucks, but it needed to happen. I'm looking on the bright side. It's a good thing. I will find the password. It's not like, there was a house fire and there no longer is a password written down or something. I know people go through things like that where they have to start completely fresh and there is no chance that they could get their password back. I've been Googling it and reading other accounts of loss of access to their accounts because I'm looking for ways to get around where I'm at now. And yeah, there are a lot of people that have just lost their accounts because that one password just is missing. And they have no hope of getting it back. So it could be worse. I at least have probably an 80% chance that I'm going to get back into my other accounts. But who knows when? Because it depends on where it is. And if I had the brilliant idea to pack that notebook, it's in one of the boxes that's already packed. And there are a lot of them. And that will have to wait till I get to the store. So we'll see what happens with Jamie B books. And of course, I have both running again. Will be on the Jamie B books. But the reviews will be more over here because the way my books are going to go, as I read them, if I'm not going to keep them, right now, all the books that I read go to my sister. She reads them and then she brings me back everything that she doesn't want to keep. And we have some rules. It's mine. I have to not want to keep it before she gets to keep it. If it's hers, she gets to keep it if she wants to. And if she doesn't want to, then she brings it over and I can keep it. And that's been going on for well over a decade. It's a great system. If you have siblings and you all read, I'm sure you have some, you know, book swapping or something system. I've met several families now that have stuff like that. Maybe not quite so regimented, but it does happen. We have fewer rules in our trading back and forth with our other siblings, but we all are readers, and it's like a little mini book club. It's great. But before before I started setting up my bookstore, the books that neither one of us were keeping, I would find a place for them, usually a little free library, or take them to the Friends of the Library bookstore or something like that. Um, so the only thing that's really changed is now they funnel into my bookstore. And maybe she's keeping fewer. And she also got a whole bunch of new books, a bag of books week. She was there too. And she acquires books regularly. We are related. So I have a feeling that she's funneling books my way that she had kept and doesn't want to anymore as well. So basically, when I review books on here, they will eventually, um, most of them end up in my bookstore. The only exception would be ARCs and library books, and of course, books that are hers and she plans to keep. So a lot of the reviews on here will be for actual books that the book I'm holding is the one that will be in the store. And I wanted to start making reviews anyway for books like that so that it would be a advertising like, hey, we have this book, come on down and get it. I don't know if it'll be quite that targeted because there's a lot of steps in the way between when I read it and when it's available in the store. Obviously, but having a collection of reviews on the social media about those books is still great because even if the book that I was holding is at my sister's still, there's a good chance that another copy might be in the store. So, and of course, if you're not local, you're not popping by to check out the books anyway until and unless we have an online store, and that won't be all the books because at some point very few people want to pay shipping to buy a 50-cent book from here to be sent there with shipping the expense that it is now. Um, so yeah, so we will be having an online store as well, but it probably will be a portion of our stock. Um, and some of that may be tied into memberships where you have access to request and have sent x number of books, or I don't know, with fixed shipping rates or something like that. We have to look at what all our options are, and by the time we're set up, who knows what shipping rates will look like, because all that's tied to the economy, and the economy is interesting. So, anyway, that's a sort of a quick update on where we are, and you can tell we're in the same house as all those videos that you've seen on Jamie B Books. I'll turn the camera that way. Um, in that back part of the room, that's actually where the drinks area is that has my coffee maker and the giant punch bowl full of tea boxes and all that stuff. So that was my backdrop. But we got a new air conditioning unit thingy that's on little wheels, and the only screen thing that we can put it in front of most of the time in this house. This is a mid-century modern custom built house, and a lot of the windows don't open, and there's only screens on certain windows, and yeah, it's an interesting property. So in order to find a place to put the cooler so that we could have cold air a little bit during the summer this year, we needed the screen door that was right next to where I was filming. And when that's on, it's like being in a wind tunnel. So I can't read over there anymore. Even though the best lighting is in that room, I can't. So we're over here. It looks like it's decent lighting, and during the day it is, but there is no overhead light because during the era this was built in, it was trendier to have no overhead light. And then there was a weird setup where there's a plug in the ceiling up back in there, and they plugged in um, a light that suspended from the middle, but not really because there's no hole in the ceiling for it. I don't know how they made it stay up. I don't know if it actually was all the way in the middle or what, but that was the lighting when they built this room. So there really isn't any built-in lighting in this room. It sucks. So it's not as great a location for me because light is important to read. But I'm making it work. I've got lamps and so yeah. So this will be probably where I'm filming for a little while. Um, so yeah, welcome to the new channel. Still me, still rambly. I'm gonna try to do little review videos that are short. Good luck with that, right? Um, so yeah, that may be more like I record a long video and then cut it into pieces to get the bits that I was supposed to be recording. Because you guys know me. But yeah, same Jamie, same reading. And I am migrating over all my reading to my new accounts. So the Goodreads and Storygraph are both going to have all my books that I've read. The Storygraph definitely will have more recent books for a little while because the way I'm transferring everything over is by going from my existing, established accounts and just looking side by side and adding them together. Basically, in Storygraph, if you guys ever have to do this, if you open up, um, if you open up your established account in Storygraph, you'll be able to see from the perspective of your new account all the books that the established account read. It won't show that you've read them because you haven't marked them that way yet, but you can go down the line and mark them, which is great. It takes a little while after a while because it's a continuous scroll, the way at least it's set up for me. But you can do it. I have about not quite 800 books on the established account. So it takes a little time. I'm partway there. And yeah, then I can go through and fill in any details I want. I'm not necessarily going to transfer over the reviews. I might, but it depends on what the reviews look like, and I might just do it on a book by book basis. If I have them in the store, then I'll update it to make sure it has everything, that kind of thing. Because it's a lot of books, and at some point we just have to move forward. But I'll at least have what I've read all in one place because it's nice to know where I left off on series and stuff like that. And kind of what I thought of it. On Goodreads, I'm doing similar. You can actually do a compare books thing. So that makes it easy. But Goodreads has limits on how many you can add to your account in a day. So I hit that yesterday. The soft limit and the hard limit, apparently. So that's going to be slower because I have several thousand books on there that I've read. Yeah. And then I also, you can tell this is one of my priorities, logging my books. Because I also had emailed my sister a copy of my book spreadsheet. I don't know when. I think about 2 years ago, hopefully. So she's gonna find that email and send me a copy of my book spreadsheet. So I at least won't have lost all of my spreadsheet data. And I have my trusty notebook. And you can see for March for 2024, here's my list of what I read in March in 2024. So I have the data. I did not lose most of the information I had on what I read. It's just, I have to put it all together in one place. Yeah. So that's what I've been doing. And trying to get my new NetGalley spun up. I did message NetGalley on the off chance that I can, work from the back end and get into my established NetGalley. I have a feeling that might not be successful, because if they'll take somebody messaging them like that as reason to change stuff on the back end of someone's account, that's not secure. It's a situation that probably doesn't happen to everybody, so I don't know. It depends on what all they can confirm and what they're willing to confirm, because obviously it's me. And who in their right mind would commit to reading all those arcs? I know. So we'll see. That last bit especially, I fully intend to read all those arcs, and I do have about 700 some arcs that I still need to read. If somebody else wanted to steal the account to read those 700 arcs, they're crazy. I will own the crazy myself. Yeah. So it doesn't seem like something that's an asset most people want anyway. Because if they don't read them, then they would have a bad percentage and a bad reputation, and they'd stop getting offers for arcs. And yeah, so we'll see. There's a chance that I can get back into my established NetGalley. In the meantime, I've only got 7 arcs on the new one, and they're all read now. And I've read 2 of them. So I'm going to finish off the ones I've got and see if I get a response back from NetGalley. And if it's negative, if I just have to wait and see if I can find my password, which is my bet about what they're going to say, then I'll just, maintain the new account and build up its reputation and get back to where I can pretty much get anything I request. Because that was nice. I did have my NetGalley where I was getting almost every book I wanted that I was requesting. And I do want to get back to that one way or another, either by getting back into my established account or by building up the new one. And you guys that are doing NetGalley know that when you're starting out, you make mistakes just because you don't know what you're doing. And by the time you get to where you're giving advice to newbies and you're an experienced NetGalley person, there's all sorts of things you're telling people that you wish you could have known starting out. So starting out, having already had a successful NetGalley isn't a bad thing. I still miss all the arcs I was going to be reading, though. Anyway, so that's the update on what's going on the channel. If you stay following both, you'll probably end up getting content from both shortly. That is the plan. And there will be good bookish content on both. Once I get the password resolved for my Jamie B books. I will be doing content that my friends will know more about the context, but where the public is less interested. Like, my reading updates with respect to some TBR for some readathon that my friends and I are all doing, but that my bookstore patrons may not be involved with. That kind of stuff. So, you get the idea. There's a place for both. It will work. Yes. And eventually, I will have the computer that we're going to be using for our bookstore. We have a plan that includes we're going to be getting a computer that can handle the kind of software that works with video editing. So not a Chromebook. Chromebooks are not made for this kind of stuff at all. You can make it work if you're very poor and you don't have any other options. But there's not a lot of options for being able to splice videos together and make it all come together in one video from fragments. So eventually I'll be able to record little bits and stick them all together and do it that way. But in the meantime, my workaround to make it all work is that I record a big one and whittle it down using the YouTube Studio, if anyone was wondering. It does work, and it works without crashing my computer because these Chromebooks don't have a lot of memory to play with. So if you have things that are too much of a memory hog, and a lot of the graphics and video making stuff is memory intensive, you can very easily crash your computer trying to do that, or at least make it so it's non-functional for actually making video. Found that out. Yeah, so this will be the format for a little bit, and it'll get more streamlined and fun, I hope, as I get a little bit of more of a handle of how I'm going to do it. And we'll make this work, guys. It'll be fun. Yeah, keep an eye out for how much you would be able to recover if something like this happened for you, because there's some things I did right that I'm glad I did. There's some things that I could have done better to be less vulnerable to this kind of a mess. And it can happen to just about anybody. It doesn't take as much as you might think to suddenly find yourself scrambling to make new content and new channels and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So yeah, stay on top of it. Don't assume that it won't happen to you, because it can. Yeah. Happy reading, everyone. I will see you in the next video. This will be fun. Bye, guys.